Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining me today. The topic I will be exploring is the gender roles within Aztec culture and the ways they influence society. So, specifically, I will be examining the division of roles throughout Aztec communities, including how labor and family structures were split along gender lines. I will also discuss the flexibility in these roles, particularly through the Aztec views on femininity, masculinity, and religious practices. Ultimately, my goal is to highlight the complexity of gender roles within this rich society. Within Aztec culture, daily life was organized around clearly defined gender roles. Men were typically expected to serve as warriors, farmers, builders, and hunters, roles that required physical strength and contributed to the protection and sustenance of the empire. Women, on the other hand, had equally important but different responsibilities. They managed the household, engaged in weaving, produced textiles, raised children, and participated in the bustling marketplace as merchants and vendors. Although society was male-dominated, women's economic contributions were vital to both family survival and the broader economy. As McCaw in 2000 highlights, both genders supported the community in ways that were seen as complementary rather than purely hierarchical. Next, taking a look at the family structure, family was the foundational unit of Aztec society, and marriage played a crucial role in shaping social structure. Marriages were often arranged to create alliances between families, reinforce social ties, and maintain order within the class system. A fascinating aspect of the structure was the use of quote unquote earthly names, names given at birth that were tied to social expectations and symbolic gender identities. According to McCaw, these names reflected a child's future societal role and reinforced traditional gender expectations from an early age. Boys and girls were taught different skills based on their names and expected life paths, showing how deeply gender was embedded in Aztec identity and social standing. We will take a look at the ideology of male power, essentially the patriarchy and male dominance. So, despite the importance of women's labor, Aztec society was fundamentally patriarchal. Nash's research article in 1978 points out that male dominance was reinforced through cultural, religious, and political structures. Mythology played a powerful role in this system. Stories often glorified male warriors and gods, creating a religious justification for male authority both in public and private life. Daily rituals and education further cemented the expectation that men would lead, while women would be the support. Even religious ceremonies often emphasized male priests and warriors as the primary mediators between the human and divine worlds. Thus, patriarchy was deeply normalized within every layer of Aztec society. Now we move on to women's hidden strength, the female power and influence. The story of gender roles in Aztec world is not one of pure subjugation. As Pinnock, in 2018 describes, women possess significant, though sometimes hidden, forms of power. Women were associated with vital forces like creation, childbirth, and agricultural fertility, but also with destruction and death. They were seen as life-bringers and as powerful figures capable of ending life, especially in mythologies surrounding goddesses. In many religious ceremonies, women played essential roles, either as priestesses or as participants in sacred rites that were critical to maintaining cosmic balance. This dual view of women as nurturing and dangerous gave them a complicated but important place in Aztec thought. Thus, while political power was limited, symbolic and spiritual influence was undeniable. The Aztec culture did have a certain amount of gender role fluidity. An interesting aspect of Aztec gender roles was their degree of flexibility, especially compared to rigid European gender norms at the time. Alwan and Pinnock, two uh, journal articles, both note that Aztec views on femininity and masculinity allowed some fluidity. For example, with religious rituals, often including cross-gender activities, where men took on female-associated roles and vice versa during sacred ceremonies. Masculinity and femininity were seen as cosmic forces that could coexist within a person depending on the spiritual or social need. This suggests that Aztec society understood gender not purely as fixed binary, but as spectrum influenced by social, cosmic, and but as a spectrum influenced by social, cosmic, and religious factors. Now, when taking a look at gender roles within religion, religion was a space where gender roles could both reinforce and challenge societal norms. While many religious leaders were male, women also served as priestesses and temple caretakers. Certain festivals and rituals specifically honored women deities, such as, and I apologize for my pronunciation, Chalchehutaluku, the goddess of rivers and fertility. These religious spaces offered women both visibility and spiritual authority. Moreover, the balance between male and female gods was crucial for maintaining harmony in the cosmos, illustrating the idea that both genders were necessary and sacred. Thus, religious life provided a more nuanced view of gender, contrasting the more straightforward patriarchy found in political structures. I thought it would be interesting to take a look at some of the myths surrounding female strength and gender roles. Even today, Aztec myths continue to shape our understanding of gender resilience. As Rogers, in his journal article in 2007, points out, modern interpretations of Aztec stories often emphasize the strength, independence, and resilience of women. These retellings show that despite historical marginalization, women maintained important cultural identities and legacies through storytelling. The myths offer powerful examples of female agency, serving as a form of cultural preservation and resistance. By analyzing these stories, we can better appreciate the deep-rooted respect for women's roles within the broader narrative of the Aztec identity. So as we close things out here, in conclusion, gender roles in Aztec society were deeply influential in shaping political structures, economic life, family organization, and religious practices. While society was patriarchal in many respects, women held significant power, particularly in symbolic, spiritual, and familial domains. Aztec views on gender demonstrated a fascinating complexity. Labor and leadership were divided, but cosmic and religious thinking allowed for flexibility and respect for both masculine and feminine forces. Ultimately, the story of gender in Aztec culture is not one of simple dominance or submission, but of complex negotiation and vital contributions from both men and women. And here are the sources that were used throughout, and I thank you for joining me. Have a wonderful day.